Hey guys, what's good? I will be reviewing Futurama Season 11, Episode 10, which is titled All the Way Down. I'll be breaking this down in a few sections, and yes, there will be spoilers. Alright, let's start with the summary. The episode starts with a world identical to the Futurama one, but it's all made of blocks. The camera zooms out to show it's a projection of the Plan X table. The professor explains that it is a simulation of the entire universe. The simulation universe goes through roll call, which each member is a 3-block tall block. The professor explains that it takes a ton of computing power to even look as crummy as it does. The simulated universe makes a delivery to Space Italy, where Bender hits the space pope with a box and gets arrested. Leela and Fry go to see the sights and end up making out in front of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Hermes asks the professor if the people in the simulation know that they are in a simulation or if they think that they are real. He explains that they believe they are real, which prompts Amy to say that they all think that they are real as well. The professor explains why they couldn't be in a simulation, but actually seems to keep proving the point that they might be in a simulation. He then changes his mind, stating that the universe is probably a simulation. Amy says it would be a terrible thing to find out your whole personality is a simulation, kind of like how Bender's personality is artificial intelligence. Bender starts to cry and panic. Hermes states that Bender is real based off the principle, I think, therefore I am, by Rene Descartes. The professor then states he must turn off the simulation since it will be raising the electric bill. Bender is upset and leaps at the professor, who's struggling to unplug the sim. The professor decides since he cannot unplug it, he will keep it running. Back in the simulation, they are now where season 11 started with the impossible stream. Back in the real universe, Bender argues that the sim people deserve the same respect all of the creatures do. The professor says that they are just ones and zero, but Leela argues that they are all just atoms, but they are still something more. Bender makes the professor swear to keep the sim alive and to make sure that they don't know that they aren't real. The professor says the electricity is still an issue, while in the toilet he thinks of a turbine in the sewer line to create power. Back at Plan X, they plug in the sim, and with the extra power, they all become identical to now the real universe. The sim professor declares that they have now created a simulation. The first sim now has the same questions the real universe had about being in a simulation. Sim Amy devises a plan to tell if their universe is a simulation. She states that if their universe is being run by a computer, that if they witness something that is impossible for the computer to simulate, they would witness glitches in reality. The sim crew heads to space to witness a collapsing magmatar, which I think is like a collapsing star. The real professor states that his computer won't be able to simulate that. Bender decides that if they're going to find out that they are in a simulation, that he should be the one to tell them. The professor tells him that they can do it, but it will push the first sim Bender to the sub sim and so on and so forth. They also tell him that it's going to be a one-way trip, but he still agrees. They send Bender in and he wakes up in the sim as the crew arrives at the star. They start trying to force it to collapse and Bender tries to tell them that they are in a sim. Fry interrupts, stating that he thinks it makes no difference if they are or not. He goes on to say that the laws of the universe are beyond their control, so they need to just make the best of their time. He then tells Leela he loves her now and forever, and that much is real even if they aren't. Everyone comes around to Fry's thinking, including Bender, who bursts into tears. Back in the real universe, the crew is trying to cool the computer and put out fires. The professor says that they need to unplug the sim, but Fry protests, saying that Bender is in there. The Bender in the real universe then wakes up. The crew all make it seem like Bender came back, but it seems like it's very much alluding to that he came from a sim above theirs. Bender says he knows how to save the sim. They are going to underclock the processors. This causes the sim to run slow. 1 second in the sim will be like years or centuries in the real universe. We zoom into the sim where they are still forcing the star to collapse, which still causes some glitches to happen, but they are saved. Time starts to move very slow, and Fry and Leela start to come together for a kiss. Alright, let's go over some things that I liked. I think this is one of the most solid, well-rounded episodes of the whole season. I enjoyed the deep analysis of what it means to be real, and the episode wasn't really goofy, which actually ended up working to its advantage. Alright, let's go over a dislike that I had. It doesn't really end the season in any kind of real place, just kind of ends. Doesn't really set us up for anything going forward. Alright, as for a rating, I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I think this episode was one of the best of a season that felt very okay. It wasn't overly goofy or trying too hard to be funny, while also having a pretty good message wrapped in an entertaining episode. But let me know what you think down in the comments. What did you think about this episode and the season in total? I did enjoy the season, but someone said something to me that felt more and more true as time went on. They told me that every time Futurama is revived, that it loses a part of its soul. I love this show, but it does feel like it has lost something over time. With that being said, this is also the last review of Futurama that I'm going to be doing, and not just because it's the end of the season. I had a blast doing these, but I struggled to find the time to always keep up with them. I'm excited to go back to watching these just for fun again. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, make sure that you subscribe for more. I also stream over on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll have the links down in the description below. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.